What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime, number 36. This one's called In the Middle of It. It's been a little bit since we've had a chat last. Wheeling and dealing vehicles. Finally got Chloe to bed. I suppose we should start there. Although I'm pretty stoked. I finally shot 2 of my 3 Jesus skits. 2 of my 3 Jesus skits. Oh my god. Found a store that sells green Kool-Aid, which is the best Kool-Aid. Is there vodka in there? I don't know. No, there's not. Because I don't need it today. Because I was kicking ass and taking names. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. So I think last time I updated the Chloe situation, which is a backhoe. Apparently people were getting confused and thinking Chloe was the hot sex chick and Chloe was some endeavor that I was overtaking, trying to undertake. Yeah, Chloe's my backhoe. But I finally got it up to my land. I met my neighbors. They were super cool. I burnt a couple of I ripped off a couple of bongs with my one neighbor, who seems to be kind of the godfather of the land. He's been there the longest. When we were sitting around the campfire drinking, I said, what's the name of the valley? Because we've got this beautiful little valley that's hidden behind some treacherous roads. And they said, oh, we don't have a name for it, da 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 da. I'm like, for God's sakes, how have you not named this? And your potheads too? So I was like, what about Renegade Valley? And the guy was like, oh my god, I love it, da da da. So by the time I left, he was already like telling stories where he's like, oh yeah, so Kale was there. Kale's right over on the northern crest there of Renegade Valley. Da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, so I guess it's Renegade Valley. So I released my plans for my land. I'm going to start a dog rescue inspired by my baby boy Zeus. I'm talking about you, beefcake. I love your face. Oh, I love your face. Yes, I do. But now that we have a cool valley name, we changed the name of it to Renegade Valley Dog Rescue, which is awesome. And my neighbor owns this peak, which you can see to the lake from where we're at, and is pretty high. And his wife, the couple, their name is Doug and Lorraine. They are great people. I'm very, very excited to live next to them. And I tried to name the peak Lorraine's Lookout, and they didn't go for it. She seems to be a very modest, very humble woman. Yeah, they didn't go for that. They told me that they named the road. We've got a split road that we share, and he named the front end of it. She named it Burroughs Pass, and they were like, "Well, you get to name the back end of it." And he's like, "What's your name?" Da, da, da. I'm like, "I'm not gonna name it after me." But with the dogs and the dog rescue, I was thinking possibly Lost Dog Lane. But now what my plan is, since we're naming things. Since I love this furry potato, I'm gonna bring Zeus up there.
Close your ears, Chico. You don't need to hear this.
I'm gonna bring Zeus up there, and they're gonna meet Zeus a few times and fall in love with this dude. And then I'm gonna get him drunk, and I'm gonna get him to agree to call it Zeus's Peak.
Yeah, he'll live on in infamy.
Yeah, so that's what's been going on with that. I had to do a post online because we're going to try to raise money for this dog rescue. And after I posted it, I realized, man, every school I've ever been in, whenever they tried raising money for anything, I always tried to compete with the fundraiser for my own charity. It was called the Nickathon. I was such an asshole. So I had to post like, hey, this is in no way related to the Nickathon. Oh my god. Green Kool-Aid is the best. I had a podcast where I was bagging on some coworkers and kind of rough on my friends also. But I believe in that podcast I told the story of the unassuming eagle. I accidentally scored an eagle on one of my holes. It was a really long par 5, but right about where everybody drives is kind of a little valley, and then it goes back up to a protected green. And my friends were pissing me off. My one buddy has to be like, everybody watch me swing, and other stuff. Just in a bad mood. My back starts hurting me by the end of that 18. I'm ready for it to be over. But I munch my drive and I keep it uptight by the property line of where the houses and the golf course is. And up there is just Arizona's just hard packed dirt and kind of pebble rocks and stuff like that. So the fucker ran pretty good. And I found it on a knoll, and so my partner dropped me off, so he was gonna go look for his, second or third shot. I grabbed like a couple of clubs, and then I grabbed and I hit an awesome approach. I stuck my approach, just stuck it on the green. And then when they were over there playing grab ass by their balls, I went and put my clubs away and grabbed my putter. And I haven't made a putt all day long. I 3-putt, I think, every hole except for that one. And they were fucking around for so long that I just, walked up and putted it in. I was like, just putted it and made it. So I was like, oh, cool, 3 on a par 4. So I was going to like cock off to them at the end when they were doing scores, because my one buddy is super like competitive. He needs to know, if there's a score or whatever. Usually when I beat him, he stops keeping score. But this was kind of the point where he kind of got my juices going. So now I'm like actually caring. He's never gonna beat me again. But I figured I would cock off when he was like, "What'd you get there?" Because sometimes by the end of the round, I'm like, "Dude, I'm not even really keeping score anymore. I'm just trying to get through the round, or whatever." So they're walking up to the green and they're like, "Oh, that was that was pretty tough par 5, par 5." And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, oh, we were talking about how this is such a tough par 5. And I was like, a par 5, it's a par 4. And they're like, no, it's a par 5. It's a whatever yard par 5. And I go, fuck. And they go, what? And I go, fuck. I fucking eagled it. And they go, oh, bullshit, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. I go, dude. At this point, I don't even care if you guys fucking believe me. I'm pissed that I didn't believe, that I didn't enjoy my first eagle in like 15 years, you know, or however long. Who knows? I mean, eagles don't come around very often, especially for a shitty golfer like me. So, oh my gosh, she's so cute. So they're like chirping the whole round, like, oh yeah. So like, I think there were like one or two. Maybe was that the end? Is that how we finished? I don't know. But like even bagging up, they were like, yeah, I shot a 56 there. You know, just like lying, like I'm just outwardly lying, you know. And I'm driving home, and I realized that if I would have known that was for eagle, there is no chance that I make that putt. You know, I'm driving like halfway home and I'm pissed. I'm like, I talked to my stepdad and I'm like, dude, I just accidentally eagled a hole. And he's like, what? You chipped it in? I'm like, no, I fucking destroyed it. It was an awesome hole. I did everything I wanted to. I was smart about how I played it. Like, it was sweet, but like, I didn't know it was an eagle. It's like you accidentally have sex with a supermodel. But I'm driving home halfway, and I'm like, you know what? I would have never frickin' made that putt. I would have 3-putted for 5. I would have taken a bogey there. And I was so preoccupied that halfway home, I go to light up a cigarette, and I don't have my cigarettes on me. So I go, holy shit. I put my cigarettes and my wallet on the back of the fucking truck bed. So I pull over real quick, check the truck bed. It was the very end of it. I put it on the corner of the truck with the tonneau cover, undid the tailgate, threw my clubs in there, did the tailgate up, and then got in. Walked right by them. They were sitting on the corner. So they're gone. So I drive like a bat out of the hell all the way back to the golf course, and I'm going to check the parking lot, figuring when I took off, boom, boom, the stuff fell off, or when I took my first turn, they fell off. So I cruised back to the golf course. I checked the parking lot. Everybody was gone by that time. We were the last guys off. Started driving really slow. Found my cigarettes at the first turn in the ditch. Checked all over the road. Drove up a little bit. Drove back to where I found the cigarettes. Looked all over the road. There in the middle, all the way up against the truck bed, is my wallet. So it slid from like all the way in the corner where it's super easy to fall off. The cigarettes fell off right away. The wallet somehow slid like all the way up to the middle of it where it didn't fall off when I was driving around like a bat out of hell. So super lucky day. I got an eagle and did not lose my wallet, which was awesome. The next round then, I called out the 2 eagle opportunities that I had for my buddies, and they didn't appreciate that. And then the round after that, I called out the eagle opportunity that I had just off the fringe. They're not liking the new trying hard Nick. on the golf course. I haven't been. I bought 2 drivers since then because I've hit all these different drivers. I worked at this uh, golf course in Minnesota where they had all these demo drivers, and I hit all these demo drivers, and I cannot hit them like I hit this driver. I've got this Callaway TI. It's just a big square. I've got a very short swing. It's compact because of my hockey swing, and I don't like to elongate my swing because I just feel more stuff's going to go wrong. So it's very tight, and I just hit this thing like 280, 290, 300 all on the fly. It's a 10 degree. So I went online and I was bidding on this 8 degree Callaway, same type, but it was 8 degree, and I was at $26. I put a high bid in of 75, and there was like an hour left on the bid, and then they just canceled the bid on me. So I was pissed. So I went and grabbed a 14 degree. I paid like $64 for it, but I was like angry buying at that time. I was like, fucking cancel the bid. I'll show you. I'll buy something that I don't really need. Because I already have all carry on my drive. So I wanted to get something to shoot it. But now I got this 14. I throw it in my bag. And I go out with my buddy. And there is a hole which is a dog leg left, and there's a huge tree protecting it, so you cannot shoot it. And so I'm like, well, fuck it. I go, let's try this 14 degree, huh? And I just smoke it over the tree, and it still goes like, I don't know, 260, 270. So, boop, little chip onto the green. I was like, all right, pays off. So, but those were like those rounds, the eagle, the couple of eagles opportunity, the single opportunity, and then parking it one over the tree. I still shot really bad, but I was below 100, and the group of us are not good golfers. So breaking 100 is a pretty big thing, and now I'm doing it because my buddy has me. It's got my juices going, and I'm carrying. I'm actually lining up putts and stuff like that. So I'm breaking 100 a lot, and we haven't gone golfing since. So, but yeah, in the middle of it, man, selling cars. I sold vehicle number 8. The Pathfinder was a nice ride, but as soon as I modified the seat for my bad back, I was like on the thing. It was painful for me to ride, so I sold that. I got a gig down in Tucson. Called The Glass Planet. Some dude finds me on YouTube, this podcast, and he's like, hey, we're shooting a movie in Arizona. Are you interested? I said, yeah. Check out the script, and it's really well written. So I go, yeah, I'm in. I get stranded on a planet, and there's age discrepancies. I have to de-age. So they want me to shave and cut my hair. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. That'll light my fire for the Jesus stuff. So I agree to it. There's a couple of small parts that I'm confused about. So I record one of the parts with my interpretation, and I kind of add a little bit to it, and they loved it. When you post these auditions and stuff, when you post these scenes online, you can track how many times they view it. So if you post an audition and it gets viewed once and then that's it, you're done. You know, you're not gonna get a call back on that. You can pretty much chalk that up. So I filmed this scene and I wasn't really happy with it, and then ran into some tech problems, so I had to reshoot it, and then was a lot better the second time. And they viewed it 7 times in one night, so I knew he liked it, and when he got back in touch with me, he expanded kind of my lines and everything, added more to it. So as we were going back and forth with these lines, the reason why I stopped pursuing an acting career and wanted to do my own stuff is because one, talent are horrible, horrible people, and two, I have the memory issue because of a TBI. So I realized the worst thing that could happen for me is to be successful in this. Because one, I don't want the fame, I don't want the celebrity. I want to be left alone. I love acting, but I don't want that part of it. And the other thing is, I have memory issues. So even if I make it big and nail this huge role, there's no fucking way that I'm going to be able to remember the lines. For all of my auditions, I've got to tape the lines underneath the camera. For this role down in Tucson, he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, we changing the lines, da da da." I'm like, "My God, it's 2 days before we shoot, you know." And that's what I'm thinking. And then he calls me up the next day. He goes, "Hey, we'll have finalized script to you, and we'll do a Zoom call." So he sends me an email at like 2. We do a Zoom call at 8 or 9, but we changed. There's 3 scenes that we changed 2 out of the 3, and then the 4th one we just absolutely changed everything, and that was the really big emotional one. So this one was a struggle. I realized also why I have the really bad arthritis in my right hand. I was scared it was from jerking off all the time. No, like every half the males in the country would develop that. But I've got like burrs and stuff like that in my hand. The x-rays and MRIs or whatever, the doctor was like, "You got the hand of a 70-year-old man." And I'm like, "Well, I've been single my whole life and I got a super crazy sex drive." So he's like, "Oh, too bad there's not a name for that." I go, "Yeah, there is. It's called porn aficionado." I got along with my last doctor. He was cool. But after the TBI, I used to be able to remember crap super, super easy. And then not so much when I went through college, not so much at all. So I would write things over and over again to remember them. And then also, as a writer, I would prefer paper pads over the computer. So I'm constantly writing. When I went to learn these lines, I grabbed a new pad and I started writing to remember them. And I'm like, "Oh my God, my fucking hand." That's why. So I gotta embrace this thing. So what I did is I just did voiceover with my lines, generated a loop of an hour, and then downloaded that to YouTube. Took a couple of hours, so by the time I got to sleep it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? But when I downloaded it, I went onto YouTube on my phone and it wouldn't play. It would just do the spiraling thing like it was loading and nothing would happen. So I was like, "Oh shit, maybe I screwed it up by my voiceover." So I did another quick one and just looped it a couple of times, downloaded that onto YouTube, still wouldn't play. So I said, "Oh my God, okay, it's getting really late. I'll just do a regular podcast." So I did a regular podcast of me saying the lines, loaded it onto YouTube because there is video now and not just audio. It took forever for it to load, so I said, "Screw it, I'm going to sleep." So I went to sleep, woke up the next day at like 7 or 8, went to play the podcast version of my lines and it still wouldn't play. So I decided to reset my phone, and sure enough, all of the stuff played. So I did some work and then I listened to it when I worked out. I just wasn't getting it. I listened to it all the way down to Tucson. I just wasn't getting it. It's a mess. It's a jumble. We were using phrases a bunch and changing them, and I'm just not going to get it. So I'm pissed. I'm frustrated at myself. I'm pissed off about driving in Tucson because it's a shithole. Every road down there is 3 lanes and everybody's going 30 miles an hour. Um, it's dirty. There's no hot chicks. So I get to the campus and none of the buildings are labeled. Again, no hot chicks. So by the time I get to the place, they want to be there at 3:30, but I'm always there early. So I was planning on being there at like 2:45 because all of their crew was going to be there at 3. And I wanted to be there at 1:45 to make sure I got there in plenty of time to decompress and everything. And I come rolling in at 3:30, pissed off, frantic. I am not comfortable. I don't know my lines. But it was fun. We killed it. I got to the emotional part. Apparently did really good. Everybody loved it. I was not happy with my effort. I believe I gave a C effort on the emotional thing, which pisses me off because if I would have known the lines, I could have crushed it. And I hate that feeling. But I did have fun. So drove back to Phoenix. And I get back to Phoenix and I get home, and again I live on a storage facility property, and I get home and I see kind of garbage all over. So I take a quick spin around the property, and there's one lane which has a bunch of garbage through it. So I park and I get out, and there's pizza scraps thrown all over my yard. There's pea spots. There's styrofoam packing peanuts by my dumpster. They illegally dumped a bunch of stuff in the dumpster. They left a stack of like 6 tires. They peed on the tires. I was pissed. So I did something that I shouldn't have. I went and pulled the customer's name, and this would be a violation of company policy. But I went above and beyond my duties as caretaker, and I knew that one of my tenants left their property behind. So I pulled the customer's name, Mary Bedford, and got her address. I watched the security camera, watched like 8 vehicles come in here and basically have a block party for like 4 hours. One dude was working on his car. Just no disregard or respect at all. They were rolling the tires down the lane as they're like bumping into and smashing into storage unit doors and the walls and stuff like that. So I loaded up a few of the customer's boxes that she left behind, and took a general description of all the vehicles. Drove to the address, saw that one of the vehicles was parked in the driveway. So this was in fact my customer's house, and I returned her property to her. Left it in her driveway for her to find it. So I got home, and I figured the next day I would drop off her tires for her. But as I was driving through and saw more pizza crusts, I let my dogs out. They kept trying to eat all these pizza crusts all over. It was like they walked around all the aisles throwing the pizza crust. Left like open containers of the cheese sauce and stuff. Plus it looks like Papa John's, which is fucking horrible. So they're obviously animals. Oh, see ya, baby. So I grabbed all the pizza crust and the 2 open cheese sauce containers, and I was going to return them as basically a calling card, like, hey, this is your friendly manager from your storage. I'm the one that did the nice stuff for you and returned all your property. As I was driving by for the second wave, I saw said tenant out in the driveway on her phone. And it was at that point that I realized that I've had previous issues with her. So I rolled down the window and I said, oh boy, this looks like Mary Bedford stuff. And I rolled the window up and took off, and she's fucking swearing and fucking. So, so I slept like a baby last night. Woke up in the morning, and my customer care rep called, and she's like, "Hey, what did you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "Okay, this lady called up." And I go, I know, I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "What do you mean?" And this is the girl that blew. I had a sting operation set up to catch a thief, and she blew my sting operation twice. I had this thief set up for him to use a different code and then access a different unit, and I was going to watch him and stuff, and she calls him up and tells him what's going on. So I go, "Listen, you're going to tell me a story or ask me about something that happened. I'm sure a customer accused me of doing something, and I'm just saying officially I have no idea what you're talking about." And she goes, "Oh, she called me up. She was like, yeah, we said we can dump it." And she starts bitching about her. And she's like, I fucking talked to her yesterday. I didn't. I'm like, "No, guess what? That was me, and I didn't tell you. I know you did, blah, blah." So she starts bitching about it, and I go, "All right, well, this is what's up then." So I told her, and she goes, "All right, well, she's coming back here to pick up all of her crap." And I felt a lot better after doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't even want her on property. Just, she's vacated. She can't rent from us anymore. Tell her she's blackballed. I'll take care of everything else. But, if she's saying she doesn't know what happened, tell her to take it up with her friends, because she's getting one hell of a black eye because she hangs out with a bunch of dirtbag, douchebag, white trash assholes. I'm sure she didn't say that, but I might have found a new way to get my tenants to clear out their units correctly. So today, Susie, come here. So today the plan was to shoot 2 different skits for my Jesus project. And... Dude, stop! As soon as I wake up, everybody starts canceling. And I'm working on getting replacements for them. Luckily, my one really good buddy who's solid, and who's one of those guys where he's like, "Dude, if I say something, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it." He comes over and kind of helps me as an assistant, and we get everything together. We get a shot done, and have to use the same girl for the second one. I'm trying to I don't even want to explain that, but it's for a project. It's a struggle. I end up getting the first shot done and the first scene done, and it's acceptable, but I'm not 100% thrilled. I had this plan to shoot on the outskirts of town on a Monday when this business was closed, and then I had to shoot on a Sunday when they were open and people are leaving town. So I had a highway right next to me that became a lot more busy, and then I had people walking in and out of the parking lot. It was a good shoot. We got what we wanted to do, but I realized one of my actors kind of messed up continuity wise, but no big deal. Went to the second shoot, managed to somehow get that shot. I had a buddy and his wife and their 3-year-old daughter come over, and I'm like, okay, this is enough. It's a small crew, but it'll work. And like, I was kind of telling everybody how we were gonna do it, and I was like, oh my god, we got nobody to watch the kid. So we set it so we layered it so then as soon as my buddy Gabe came in to shoot, he was the last one to leave. We gave her some cinnamon rolls, turned on a kiddie show. She had both dogs, so we're like, okay, we got 3 or 4 minutes. He runs in, records, he starts freaking laughing all the time. I can't get through a take without him laughing. So at this point, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just trying to get through my dialogue because he's cracking up every time. So even on parts where I'm like, yeah, that where I wanted to be like super sticky and be like, sex cookie, you know. When I'm looking for a sex cookie, you know, the final take that we got through, I was just like, when I'm looking for a sex cookie, you know. So I'm not, but we got through it. It's acceptable. And then my buddy is like, oh, good thing, you know, we had it in portrait versus, or landscape versus portrait. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my god, it's such a problem editing when it's in portrait. And I did that last scene in portrait. So then I noticed a different vibe from the couple. It was a kind of risque shoot, so I didn't want to push it. I just wanted to make sure they were okay with it. But after it was done, I could tell that his wife was excited. I could tell that he was excited about how good it was going to be. It doesn't, a lot of my stuff doesn't make sense when you little pieces, when you look at the little piece, but ultimately the big picture, you know, plus this project has been ongoing for like 7 or 8, 9 years. So people were like, yeah, whatever. So now that I have shot the skits, I've just really noticed a change with all my inner friends. They're like excited. My 2 buddies were like, oh, I got Tuesday and Wednesday off. I can come over and help, blah, blah, blah. Shoot me some of your footage. And I'm like, nah, I'm not showing anybody my raw footage. But yeah, you're more than help. Love to have your help. And I noticed a change with my buddy's wife. So we got hockey tomorrow. I'm gonna get her drunk and be like, hey, did you have fun? Do you think it's gonna be funny? Because this dude was cracking up all the time. As much as I was mad about it, afterwards I was like, all right, cool. You know, I mean, that's the point. If if the people can't get through without laughing, I mean, I heard her a couple of takes stifling a laugh. So, and I really did not try to make that funny. So I know that it can be a lot better. So I got through today. I feel awesome that I got 2 skits done, but god damn it, I want to do them over and I want to absolutely slay them. So we're gonna reshoot the coffee shop type one by the highway tomorrow. We're gonna do it early when there's not traffic around. Everybody's gonna know their lines, so that's gonna be better. And we're gonna shoot it in landscape. The bedroom scene, I'm gonna get my buddy's wife drunk and be like, look, your husband is a horrible cameraman. I think this can be better. I think it can be sexier. I think you can be sexier. And I think your lines can be better. And I think she's going to go for it. And so I should be able to shoot both of those in the next couple of days, reshoot. And then I'm going to post a ad for the big scene and get a professional actress, because I'm not dealing with this flaky shit anymore. I had to scramble and pay a bunch of people cash. I was out $400 today and I have no usable footage. So I'm going to place an ad tomorrow on Backstage and get a professional actress.
Side note, when I ran to the hitching post to reserve a spot, I came back to my property and both dogs were running around the property. I had no idea how they got out until I went inside and realized I left my back door wide open. So both of them were running around. They had an adventure today. They ran around my property for 40 minutes. Unattended. Probably raising hell with my customers. I was scared though, because if somebody they love going out that gate. If a customer would have left out the gate, they would they would have came back. Either way, they would have been. They're so freaking. Zeus is so smart. He would have sat at the gate until they could come back in. What else is happening? I bought some new cowboy boots. Pretty happy about that. I'm gonna buy a brown cowboy hat too, but I'm gonna wait until I cut my hair first before I do that, cause your head size changes when you lose the hair, dummy. Surprised you didn't know that. Yeah, so it's been crazy over here. I've kept my head on a swivel. I'm just punch drunk, like boom, boom, boom. You bought a car. Yeah, you can't ride in it. Okay, I'll buy this car. Oh, it's not 4-wheel drive? You're a dumbass. So, but, got my backhoe there. Got the Titan. The Titan. So, Titan has given me a few issues after purchasing it from a dealership. So, it broke down in 4-wheel drive. They fixed it for free. I appreciated that. Was driving along and brakes just started squealing. They were giving me issues before, and then they started squealing. They're braided. Brought them in. They were grinding down too, so I'm pretty sure the brake pads were worn away. I changed the pads and refaced the rotors. And they charged me like $40 or $50 for refacing the rotors. I would have much rather just bought brand new rotors from Rock Auto and put them on myself. But he said, when I brought it in, I'm like, look, I understand shit happens, but I posted this great review about you. I've been telling all my friends to come here, da 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 da. At this point, I'm like borderline not happy with it. The heat doesn't work. The fan selector started to go out, so they had to rip out the whole dashboard to get in and fix this main actuator switch. They bought a used main actuator switch, and then that didn't work, so they had to buy a new one. So it took a few days to fix it. Finally get it back, and it's vibrating when I brake. So it was an uneven rotor job, and I would have much rather bought new ones. But I paid them $700 in repair, and now I got vibrating brakes, and my radio clock turns off every time. They didn't hook up the radio clock again. So, but all in all, we got some skits done. We watched some good stuff on Netflix. I'm hooked on that AP Bio. Try to watch Meet Me Next Christmas with Christina Milian. Put that whole thing in fast forward just to see. She's got these enhancements. She paid to enhance her body. She's wearing the shirt showing off the enhancements. She's advertising for it, but then you never see it. Fast forward through that whole thing, she's dilly-dallying, bouncing around between two guys. There's got to be some hot sex there at some point, but it didn't happen. Fast forwarded through the whole goddamn thing, nothing. Upset. So, Meet Me Next Christmas. Meet me never. Okay, so we're rocking and rolling with the Renegade Valley Dog Rescue, so make sure you share, subscribe, like it, do all that stuff, because I'm going to start asking for donations and charity and stuff. And the t-shirts for sale. Can't stand up all the way because I'm wearing boxer briefs. Let's see how far we can go. Oh, don't stop it. Oop. Oh. This cough ain't from the Rona, bitch. And then on the back, watch out, don't get the butt. Don't go too high or you get the butt. It's like a green apple. Yeah, my butt is. I'm talking about my butt. Thanks for watching, folks. Peace out.